Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's program. We're going to be talking today about Periscope. It's sort of the rage right now in the social media world. And what's really interesting is that some of the questions I've been getting from my customers. They've been asking me, is it time yet? Do I jump on or do I wait? And I'm going to answer that question for you today because I think it's really important to really get the timing right on this one. So let's go. All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm Robert Imbriale. I am your e-coach. I'm the one who has been involved in internet marketing, longer than I can care to remember. I got online back in 1984. I started selling in 1989 online, believe it or not, before there was an internet, as we know it today, World Wide Web. And I've been one of those people who has always jumped on technology very early. For instance, email technology. When it first came out, boy, that was really a lot of fun, right? Back in 1989, I was actually using email to make sales. And you might say, wait a minute, we didn't have the World Wide Web. And you're right, we didn't have it the way we know it today. But it was really interesting because you could do it on the bulletin board systems. There was the internet because the internet's been around since 1969. And one of the things that I've always known is that email is the killer app, was the very first app, and still to this day is a still very powerful app. So the question that you may want to be asking, Periscope is big, right? Everyone's on Periscope these days. Everyone's doing stuff with Periscope. And you might be asking, well, is it worthwhile? Is it something that I should jump onto right away? And I got to tell you, here's the strategy that I've been using. I've been sitting back a lot, and I've been watching a lot of other people doing Periscopes. And it's been really interesting to see what they're doing, how they're doing it, and, the kind of content that they're sharing. And I've got to say, if you are in business, and some of you here I know who have joined me today are in business, it's a really good idea for the business owner, but not in the way you might think. Like, we're changing the game a little bit, right? We're putting a lot of power back in the hands of the business owner, putting a lot of power back in the hands of your ability to reach out, to get your message out there really quickly. Behind me, you might see that there's a lot of equipment. Behind that glass that's behind me is my studio. I'm actually in the control room right here. Big microphone, big fancy stuff, right? And the truth of the matter is, with Periscope, really, the iPhone that's recording this is all you need. And who doesn't have a smartphone today, right? The easiest thing in the world to do. So what we've done, and I want to share the analogy here because I think it's really important. The analogy is that in the old days, when the internet just came out, was one of the things that you had to do to get your message online was had to talk to a web developer, right? It was not easy to do HTML. It wasn't simple to get your articles or whatever it is on the internet. Then something really interesting happened about maybe a decade ago now. We came up with blogging. Now, what was blogging? Blogging was a simplification of the process of taking your content and putting it online. Interesting, right? So we removed the web developer from the mix, and all of a sudden, blogging just exploded. You remember everyone was doing blogging back then, and I think a lot of people still are, because it's easy, it's effortless. You want to put something up on the internet. If you can send an email, they say, you can post something to your blog. It's not the end of the world. I teach people to do blogging, and it really takes me 15, 20 minutes to show them how to get something up on there, and they don't need any more help after that. They're able to do it. So now we're in this world of live video, live streaming video. Isn't this cool? So we call these Periscopes, and I think it's just a really, really great tool. And again, we're taking the video guy out of the equation. You don't need all the equipment. You don't need the big studio. You don't need all the fancy lighting and the fancy microphones and all the rest of it. You can literally turn on your phone wherever you happen to be. As soon as there's an internet connection, you can go live and all of a sudden attract an audience. And this, to me, is the biggest piece to this, is that I can go on here. Look, I've got people already that I never met before who are now watching me on Periscope. And it's really kind of fun because instant audience. I don't have to go through the process of building registration pages. I don't have to, schedule things ahead of time. I'm working on, it's like on and on and on. All these steps have been removed. I open the app, I hit the broadcast button, and we're live, and we're going out to who knows where we're going out to. How many people are seeing it all over the world, and of course there'll be a replay for more people to watch later. And I think this is really going to be a game changer. Now, where is it going to be the game changer? Because a lot of people are going, well, how do you make money with Periscope? Where does the money come from? And I got to tell you something. The money is going to come from if you have the kind of business where you can demonstrate a product. So if you have a product that you can demonstrate that needs to be shown on camera, again, just like television, this is going to be a great media for you. This is going to be a great tool for you to build your business. If you are a coach, if you are a speaker, an author, you can come on and talk about your book. I could talk about my motivational marketing book. I can talk about my new book that's upcoming. I can talk about seminars that I'm doing. I can talk about all the things that I'm doing with my clients and helping them be more successful online. And if it's of interest to you, you'll probably end up following me on Twitter, or maybe you'll contact me and say, hey, I really want to work with you. Now, this is a real fabulous tool because, again, we're going back to this no cost, super, super easy. And people are literally getting addicted to it and saying, I got to do this. This is just the most amazing thing. I have to go out and do it. It's really going to change the face of my business. And they're right about that. I've been watching, like I said, I've been sitting on the sidelines a little bit because my customers ask me, and they ask me this and say, this is new Periscope. I hear all this chatter about it. Is it really worth jumping on board? And for me, a lot of times I will sit back when new technology comes out. I'm not always the first one to jump on board. I may do it for myself just because I'm passionate about technology, but I'm not the person who says, okay, this is for your business. You got to do it. You got to do it now. This is an exception. Periscope has really changed the game in a lot of ways, and it's made it easier for us as business owners to reach out to those people we call our customers, our followers, the people on Facebook, people on Twitter, all the people that are sort of floating by and jumping on and off this Periscope right here, right now. I'm making new friends. I'm meeting new people that I hadn't met before. So is it the right time to jump on? And my guess right now would be absolutely. What I would advise you to do is, yes, absolutely start playing with it. It may not be, the $1 million maker for you this month, but I got to tell you something. It's changing the face of how we do marketing. It's changing the face of how we do business. Remember, we take you back to the direct mail marketing days, right? If we go way back there, you remember back then it was easy to hide behind your post office box. Very, very easy to do that. You didn't have to have a name out there. All you had to do was a business name and send your check or money order to P.O. Box, whatever, and off it would go. And a lot of people would say, well, that was a good way to do business because you could be anonymous, right? And then social media started to happen on the internet, and all of a sudden it was harder to be anonymous because people would recognize who's behind that business, who's running that business. Well, now customers are actually demanding it. They really want to know who we are. They want to know what we stand for, what we believe, and what we do, when we're not doing business stuff. They want to know the whole story. So this is another tool to get your face out there. Facebook is great, but again, it's static, right? Unless you do videos like I do and post videos up there. But again, YouTube, and you need a camera, and you need a good microphone, you need some good lighting, all the rest of that kind of thing. Here, it eliminates all that. It just makes it a lot easier. So you're going to really change the dynamic of the relationship that you have between your company and the people that you do business with. And I think that's really going to be the game changer, if you will, as far as Periscope is concerned. And, there'll be more. The Periscope's not going to be the only one. There's going to be more of these popping up. I bet you Facebook brings one up. I bet you Google comes up with something under YouTube Live, or, whatever they're going to do. There's very possible that there's going to be more apps because you see the popularity. You see the people jumping on board. You see that this is going to make a huge difference. In fact, it already is making a great difference in the way a lot of us are doing business. So again, change the relationship between you and your customer, get closer to them, get them to know you. The more they're a raving fan, the more they're going to love doing business with you. And they're just going to keep coming back again and again and again. And that's going to make it fun. For me personally, I just love interacting. I have what I call a high-touch business. I spend a lot of time on the phone with my customers. I meet them in person at events whenever I can. But this, again, is a game changer. This allows me to reach out to them more often. So I can do a Periscope a day. I've heard a lot of stories from people who are starting to do this on a daily basis, sometimes 3 and 4 Periscopes a day. And I think that's really kind of cool. 8 minutes, 10-minute Periscope, very quick. Just get in there, connect with your customers, and, see the results. I think you're going to be very impressed by what's happening. So that's what I really wanted to share with you. That was my message for today. I would love for you to follow me on Twitter if you can do that, at Robert Imbriale on Twitter. And if you want to email me, it's robert@ultimatewealth.com. Love to hear your comments, your feedback, and we're going to do this again real soon because I love it, and I think you will too. If you haven't tried it yet, please go ahead, give it a shot over the next couple of days and see what it does for your business. We'll talk again real soon. Thanks.